In this video, we're going to discuss what are the advantages of having high credit limits. I recently got approved for the Navy Federal More Rewards credit card for $25,000. So I'm going to get into what I believe are the benefits. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Tasha from the Major Change Group, where we believe small changes can create big results. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. We talk about credit, budgeting, and student loans. Well, recently in my videos, I've been talking about credit limits. And I did a poll, and 80% of people say that $15,000 is a high credit limit, but the average credit limit, I googled it, it said was about $22,000 to $23,000. Now, what are the true benefits? Now that I have a high credit limit, what am I going to do with it? What are the true benefits? But that's what we're going to get into. Now, this first advantage, I don't know. I think it's true. It could be a myth, but you tell me in the comments what you think. Now, what you say when you have a high credit card limit or any credit card limits that typically your other credit card limits will mirror like the highest one? Now, even though I had got approved for this Navy Federal More Rewards for $25,000, I would say before that, my average credit card limit was about $10,000. So I had two Bank of America credit cards, I had a Citibank card, and some other cards, but my Citibank and my two Bank of America, which they closed the two Bank of America because I wasn't using, I had pretty high credit limits, about $13,000 to $15,000 on those credit cards. But whenever I would open up another credit card, it seemed like I would immediately get still kind of a high balance. I wouldn't get a low balance until I had got the Navy Federal Flagship credit card, and they had only approved me for about $7,000. I'm like, what? I was like, I could not believe I had got approved for that amount. But I can say around that time I had applied for that card, I had applied for two other credit cards, the Chase IHG and the Chase Marriott Bonvoy credit card. And I don't know, maybe I had applied for another one, but around that time I had applied for 3 credit cards. And I had just been a member of Navy Federal maybe like a month when I applied for the Navy Federal Flagship. And now being 1 year in, I hear that the Navy Federal Flagship, you know, that's one of their top tiers. And I just went straight forward. I didn't know one way about it. But I really think that your credit cards end up mirroring each other. And I would say the good thing is that sometimes you don't even have to call in and request a credit limit increase. Sometimes they'll just increase your credit limit to mirror the other credit cards. Because one of my other credit cards, the Discover It, I want to say I had got approved when I opened it for maybe like $9,000 or $10,000. But they had ended up increasing my credit limit to maybe like $13,000 or something around there. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't even call and ask them to increase it. And I maybe had the card a year, 6 months to a year, and they did that. And so I was like, that was good, because around that time they had closed one of my Bank of America credit cards, and I didn't even know how that was going to impact me, and I still got an increase. So, you know, sometimes you do have to call in and get increases on your credit cards, but sometimes the credit card company will just increase it. Now I know, because like my Citi card, I've had that card for maybe like 16 years, and there has been times where I'll call in to request a high credit limit, or not even, sometimes you don't even have to call in. You can just go onto the website and do credit card limit increase, and you can get approved. Now this takes me into the second perk of having high credit card limits, and that is that it can decrease your overall credit utilization. Now we know your credit score is made up of 5 components. So you have your payment history, your credit utilization, your length of credit, your new credit, and your credit mix. Now your credit utilization is made up of 30% of your credit score, so that's pretty high. And when I did the video last week stating how you can get high credit card limits, it said keep your utilization low. And so since it's a high percentage of your credit score, you want to try to keep it lower, the better. Now I say when you play in the credit card game, you want to try to pay off your credit cards every month unless you have a 0% interest rate. Because as we get into the other perks of it, if you are paying interest on the credit cards, you're kind of outweighing some of the perks that you might get. So keeping that credit card utilization low, the lower the better. Now, number 3, which is my favorite, you can use your credit card like a debit card. Now, I would say proceed with caution, but I definitely do this. I use my credit card as a debit card. Now, I don't even think that it matters what your credit limit is. I mean, as long as it's however much your monthly bills are, and if you pay the credit card off every month, then you are not going to be using all your utilization. But I use my credit card like my debit card, so I pay as many bills that I can on my credit card, and then, you know, like gas, food, groceries, wherever I'm swiping, you know, that I would use my debit card, I just use my credit card. And that's how you can maximize, you know, your points and things of that nature. So try to use your credit card like a debit card. But what I do is I budget in the beginning of the month. I'll do my monthly budget so that I'll know how much am I going to be spending, what are my allocations, and then I use my credit card like a debit card. Because see, the thing is, when you use your debit card, you got to have that money in the bank. So I'm just using the same logic but with the credit card. So typically I'll pay the card off either bi-weekly or monthly, so that I can make sure that I'm not carrying over a balance and that I'm not paying any interest on the credit card. And I also want to add, if you want to pay like your mortgage or your rent, they even have, you know, now we're in tax season, if you want to pay your taxes on your credit card, there is a servicer called Flagship, and I will link the video where I was showing you, like, now that I have this More Rewards credit card and my minimum spend is $3,000 within 3 months, I do not try to manufacture any additional spending. I try to make sure, okay, how much spending am I doing per month? So I had checked to see, okay, December, January, and February, what was my spending on my credit card. So I want to say in December it was like $2,000 and something, and then January and February it was like $1,300. So it ended up being like $5,000 in 3 months. But if I felt like it was going to be hard for me to meet the minimum spend, I could go on Plastique and I can pay maybe like my mortgage, my car, my student loan. Like I said, it's so many different things that you can pay with your credit card, but it is very cool. Now there is a small service fee. I want to say 2.5%, I believe. But I think they had even been sending emails saying that they were waiving some of those service fees for a while. So you definitely might want to check that out. And that takes me into the 4th advantage, and that is racking up on the rewards, cashback, points, whatever you want to call it. So in the 3rd one, if I'm using my credit card like a debit card, then I'm getting paid to use my normal spending. So on my Navy Federal Flagship account, I had earned over $1,276.33, I want to say, in the course of about a year, just doing my normal spending. Now, some people might say that that's not a lot of money. I basically paid myself a stimulus check because for the whole year, me just doing my normal everyday spending on my credit card yielded me over $1,200. So I can use an extra $1,200 to make a payment on a car note, to get me an iPhone 12, to go on a trip. I mean, there's so many different things that I could use those points with. Now, I'll get me like a Fitbit. I've got me Bose headphone speakers and things like that. But being able to get those additional reward points by using the credit card is great. Overall, there are several advantages of having high credit card limits and just using credit cards in general. You know, I say play the credit card game so that you can get paid to use your credit cards. And then even with the high credit card limits, if you can figure out other ways, drop down in the comments and let me know what are some advantages that you feel there are to having high credit card limits. because you know I just named a few, but you can let me know what you think. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, turn your notification bell on so that you will be the first to be notified when new content comes out. And I thank you so much for watching. Until next time. It's not a game.